Audio, cooking, and film are all forms of art expression. This week on MATC Now, we're exploring some of the creative paths MATC and the Milwaukee area has to offer. Stay tuned and keep watching. The wrap-up of this season's MATC Now is all about creativity. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, James Charles, and we're glad you're joining us on this special last episode of the season where we will focus on the creative arts. I'm joined with my co-host today, Daniel Booth, who is a graduate of the audio program here at MATC. Daniel, thanks for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I understand you're a graduate of the audio program back when it was just getting started. Tell us briefly what that was like and how that experience here on campus has helped shape your career.
Yeah, it was instrumental in my career as in my professional and my music career as Danny Arcane. Just providing the tools for me to allow my creativity, to teaching me the technical aspects. It's kind of allowed me to not only venture from live sound to studio sound to corporate communications and other aspects, but being able to be part of that program. And back then we had instructors that had decades of experience, so you kind of get hands-on experience. And not only is it more affordable than a lot of the other programs throughout the country, but just the MATC experience and being able to study audio has definitely helped me in my career in ways that I couldn't even imagine. So.
All right, well, thanks for sharing that. That does indeed sound very rewarding. We will talk with you a little bit more as the moments go on here. But for now, let's check in with field correspondent Jennifer Gregorich and see what they're cooking up in the International Food Lab live at our downtown campus. How's it going, Jennifer?
Hey, James. Have you been curious about the popular, tasty international dishes in the cafeteria? Well, we're about to learn more about it. Stay tuned to hear all about the culinary program.
We'll return back for an inside look at the International Food and Culinary Arts program later. Art comes in many different forms, and I would have to argue the Dean of the Creative Arts, Design and Media Pathway would agree with us. Student producer Robin Jackson will show us the Dean's perspective on student creativity. But before that, student producer JC Griffith gives us a closer look at Milwaukee's Film Festival.
Since 2009, the Milwaukee Film Festival has brought together filmmakers and film fans alike to celebrate and appreciate cinema.
What I've enjoyed is seeing just how much love there is for film in Milwaukee. So it's that even though movie theaters have become, an endangered species, and with COVID and everything, the film festival is still alive and growing, and so that's really rewarding to see that Milwaukee supports this kind of art form.
Just the ability to see so many wonderful independent films, foreign films that we maybe normally wouldn't see, and to see a whole bunch of really good movies in a short period of time, and also get to see the movies at these wonderful theaters, the Oriental and the Downer, and Times Cinema and Avalon, and they have great popcorn here too. So
I think they do a wonderful job of curating really quality films, but in every genre and type possible. So it's a really condensed way to see a really wide variety in a short amount of time.
Every year, hundreds of films are submitted by filmmakers hoping to have their work showcased. So how are the films for the festival chosen?
We do have a viewing committee, and that usually starts in October, September, October. And everybody in Milwaukee Film is allowed to participate in that. There's so many films that need to be watched, and not everybody's going to watch the same things. You just kind of give your rating, and you kind of go about it as you do. And then our programming team will go through all of our ratings, and they will basically say what's going to stay and what's going to go. And a month before the film festival, that's when all the submissions will get an answer of whether or not their film made it or not.
Each year, the attendance of the film festival has continued to grow, from around 19,000 in-person attendees in 2022, jumping to about 30,000 in 2023. It's safe to say that film is well loved and appreciated in Milwaukee.
The festival itself, I feel like the first year I was really starstruck by it because I had never been to a film festival before, but since then it's gotten so much bigger. I feel like if my first year was this year, I wouldn't have been able to handle it because it was just, it's been so packed since the first year.
I just really love seeing how excited people get when they come through. They'll just sit there and tell us how much they love that movie. When people come out of the theaters too, just seeing like the reactions, whether that be happy or like sad or just like something that got them thinking or something that made them mad or anything like that, just all their reactions just makes the job 10 times better and makes the film festival so much better.
In a time where movies and shows are easily accessible from home, it's a truly magical experience seeing so many people from the community come and enjoy themselves at the Milwaukee Film Festival. The Creative Arts, Design, and Media Pathway consists of many dedicated instructors and staff, one of which being our very own dean.
So I am Dean of the Creative Arts Design and Media Pathway here at Milwaukee Area Technical College. And basically my job is to oversee, really the management and the leadership of those programs. So I have around 75 or so faculty and staff that report to me.
The programs in the pathway are constantly evolving to better benefit the students and their futures.
So the Creative Arts Pathway has 12 different academic programs. A lot of them pair nicely well together, which I always say because the first ones we start out with and the ones that everybody knows of the most are going to be our culinary arts and our baking and pastry arts programs. But we also have other programs too that do fit well together and complement each other. So we have audio production and then music occupations. We have graphic design and web design. We have animation, computer simulation, and gaming. We have interior design, photography, and then we also have the television and video production program, as well as what is formerly known as e-production will be changed to digital content creator next year. So definitely proud of all of those programs and a lot of different ways in which we can serve students through creative arts, design, and media.
Although our staff have dedicated positions, they often have passions of their own and pursue them in their own time.
Yeah, I think what I like most about being Dean of the Creative Arts Design and Media Pathway here is that I have a creative background myself. I also grew up a musician. Music was in my blood for actually generations before I was born, and so it's a big part of my family. As well as, a lot of people in my family have some kind of creative arts thing that they do. And so people have these hidden talents. We've got a culinary instructor, that's a poet. And there's other things that people are doing. People look at the music work that I put down in the gallery, and they're like, we had no idea you were in a punk band. And so I've been a punk band for 30 years. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, it's who I am. So I think there's a creative passion within all of us, and it's just a matter of how we pursue it and what outlet it becomes, in an area of expression for us and something we can make money at, or if it's something that becomes who we are as a person. And so the thing that I'm most proud of really is connecting, people to just be who they are, but also to have a career doing something that's closely related to what they love.
This pathway, in and of itself, is an outlet for Milwaukee's creativity and passion for the creative arts.
It is wonderful to know that the Dean is so hands-on with the creative programs here at MATC.
It really is, and getting a closer look at the Milwaukee Film Festival is making me excited for the next one.
Well, I am excited to hear more about the International Food and Culinary Arts program. Jennifer, how's it going over there?
Thanks, James. As I mentioned before, we're at MATC's downtown campus with culinary instructor, Chef Adam. How are you doing today, Chef?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It smells amazing in here.
Good, good.
And what's your role here as an instructor?
I'm the chef instructor for the international cuisine class. So we teach international cuisine. We work through the recipes around the world for our class.
Sounds like an interesting program. Now I see there's a room behind us. What's in there?
Yeah, this is our walk-in cooler, so a little bigger than what most people have at home, obviously. But we have all our fresh ingredients in here, fresh produce, fresh dairy. We bring in all the stuff on a weekly basis to produce for our recipes. So today we're doing the Indian cuisine, so we've got some yogurt and all the fresh herbs and spices that go along with that.
Well, I love it. I love that you keep it fresh. I see there's a bunch of spices over here. What spices go into your international dishes?
We use basically every spice in the book. So we have, you know, the whole catalog here, and and we have specific ones for each cuisine.
Interesting. Tons of spices. I love it. Now, I was curious as to what this student is working on over here.
Okay, so this is Destiny, and she is making samosas for tomorrow. So she's making the samosa dough. So samosa is a kind of a curry vegetable, mainly potatoes stuffed into dough, and that gets deep fried and goes with a dipping sauce. It's really delicious.
It sounds delicious. I can't wait to try it. So what's all on the menu this week?
So we have chicken tikka masala, we have butter chicken, and then we have the samosas, and then we're also going to have some naan bread, some Indian bread. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. And when will this be available?
This is all going to be available tomorrow at 11 o'clock down in the S Building cafeteria. So, so hopefully people can get out there. You got to get there early, though, because we do sell out pretty quickly.
I love it. Very popular. Well, I'll be there extra early.
All right.
I see there's a bunch of spices here. What's all in this pan?
Yeah, so for Indian food, there's a lot of dry spices used, you know, throughout history. That's where a lot of these spices have come from. So we use whole spices for our Indian dishes, and then we toast them and grind them, and that helps bring out a little more pungency in them, makes the dish just a little bit more flavorful to use those whole spices and grind them down, as opposed to, taking the pre-ground spices that aren't quite, they don't have as much pop really as the fresh ones that are ground up.
Right, well, it smells amazing. I love it. What do the students get out of this program then?
So they get a great introduction to cuisines from around the world. So we are it's an 8-week class, but basically it's divided up into 4 2-week sections, and we basically travel around the world in each section. So we go from American regional all the way through the rest of the world.
Well, that seems super interesting. And what degree will they leave with?
They leave with an associate's degree in culinary arts. Yeah, so they're ready to get out there and get cooking.
Yeah, it seems like they're well prepared.
Yes, well, we hope so.
Well, it seems like that's all the time we have today.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us, Chef Adam.
Anytime.
And great, and it will be available tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yep, come on down.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Back to you in the studio, James.
Thanks, Jennifer. What an amazing look at our culinary arts program.
I'll definitely have to try their next international dish soon.
Now, let's not forget my co-host Daniel here was once part of the audio program when it first began. Now, let's see what it's currently all about with the help of student producers Samuel Bussey and Abigail E. Bean. But first, student producer Shannon O'Dwyer introduces us to a Milwaukee PBS production specialist.
Justin Migliano has been a member of Milwaukee PBS for 12 years. He is what some might call the jack of all trades, fulfilling his role as production specialist. He has expertise in all aspects of production, from shooting live or remote shots, editing, helping students, working on PBS shows, you name it, he's done it.
So there's several shows that are no longer in production that I've worked on that were very successful. Around the Corner with John McGivern.
Justin Migliano, his show.
I currently work on Adelante, Black Nouveau, 1036. documentaries as well that we produced throughout the station. Hallowed Home for Heroes was a documentary that we spent about a year and a half on. Rhythm Cafe is it's a new digital series. We feature local artists. We try and profile them, and so we go to a coffee shop and we shoot them performing 2 songs, and then we talk to them about how they got into music, what their inspiration is, and then we will edit those 2 songs down and then also create a Meet the Artist segment out of that, kind of telling their stories.
Despite working at CBS 58 for a number of years, along with another production company, Justin decided to return to where his career began. He actually received his broadcast training at MATC and said that returning to work for Milwaukee PBS feels like coming home.
What I like about Milwaukee PBS is the ability to tell stories and to not have to rush them out the door. We have time to produce good stories and tell good stories and gather kind of everything we need to make it toward the higher end, whereas in news, you had 15, 20 minutes to tell a story. And it's nice to have the ability to take your time, get everything you need, and tell a good story.
Justin's passion and drive to tell meaningful stories is what inspires him to help students craft their own stories. Whether it be by assisting in the studio, editing, or helping shape student productions, he guides students to be better producers.
What I like about working with students is being able to give back to them, to hopefully pass on some knowledge that I've acquired over the years and kind of guide them through the process to answer questions, give them guidance, hopefully make their transition in this career smooth and kind of give them a little bit of guidance. That's what's so great about what we do here at PBS as far as with students is everything is hands-on. It's a great program to kind of get in and see how all the aspects of television function and work and to learn them.
Shooting, editing, crafting stories, or sharing his knowledge with students are all the reasons why Justin calls Milwaukee PBS home.
Have you ever wanted to record your own music? MATC's audio production program gives you the chance to do just that.
Students get a chance to put their hands on every kind of outlet that we have in audio. A lot of the first few semesters are about the hands-on recording aspects in a studio, the software components. They're learning a lot of techniques that they would need to use in a DAW across any field in audio they go into. There's live sound reinforcements, there's mastering, there's audio for video, there's learning the electronics side of audio.
During their time in the program, students gain experience in a wide range of audio techniques and recording settings, from running sound for live bands to creating sound effects for video.
So in the studio recording classes, they record bands. The first semester classes and the final project is we bring a small band in and they record them, set everything up, track it, tear it down, and then do a little bit of mixing on it. The second semester is doing that times like 2 or 3 times with bigger bands and more complexity and more skills that they learn throughout the semester. There's also live concerts that students in sound reinforcement reinforce and do the setup and teardown for, as well as the recording of that live concert too, that another class gets to go back and mix.
The audio production program works closely between classes and with other programs to create a collaborative learning environment for students.
We've got a lot of different hands-on experiences. We've got our live sound class, which you get to like set up bands and stuff like that and do like the sound enforcement for all of that, including like using the soundboard, making sure everything's set up properly, monitors, speakers, all of that. But also we get to get bands to come into our recording studio and actually like record bands and do the editing for that as well. It's a lot of setting up, using microphones, all pretty much hands-on.
Whether you're looking to mix live shows, produce music, or run audio for a film set, MATC's audio production program has something for everyone.
So I would say this program is for a variety of folks. It could be a musician who wants to know how to record themselves better, or how to do the technology side of things. We've had many musicians who come in who say, yeah, I've been paying people to do this for 10 years and I want to know how to do it myself. We also have folks who are interested in live sound, and so they're wanting to know more of the skills so they can be part of like concert production and event production. But I'd also say we've had some folks who are doing more television and video related things, and they want to know more about the audio side.
Not only does the audio production program teach you to record music, it also gives you the insight and skills to break into the music industry.
So 5 goes to the hi-hat, right?
Yeah.
The audio program has certainly developed over the years, but creativity still plays a huge role in the program. And with the mention of creativity, we are currently joined today with the Arts at Large Programs Coordinator, Mark Soriano. Mark, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me today.
All right, tell us what about your role here on campus?
Oh, over at Arts at Large, the main thing that I really do is just try to make arts accessible for all. My main thing that I do there is I need to know what's happening at all times. So I need to know if there needs to be a screen in there. I need to make sure there's an audio console for if people are recording concerts. I need to make sure that people have the paint that they need for whatever experience.
That's great. You know, being creative plays a big role in both your careers. I want to ask both of you, how do you each personally find creativity?
Yeah, for me personally, it's just, staying open to new ideas. I feel like creativity is like a muscle. You kind of always have to, train it and always kind of be attuned to your surroundings and when inspiration might strike. And then also when inspiration doesn't strike, you kind of have to just keep, creating and hoping something kind of falls from it or comes from it. So that's kind of my methodology.
All right, well said. How about you, Mark?
I just try to create spaces where anything can happen, so if there's a moment where someone really wants to paint, I want to make sure that all the supplies are there. If there's a moment someone wants to sing, that mic better be live. So I just try to make it possible whenever I can.
Mark, can you explain what the Arts at Large organization is all about?
Yeah, our whole job is making arts accessible for all. So whether that's going into a school that doesn't have an art teacher, we send an artist out there where we train them, provide them with all the resources to make sure they can work with the students there. Or if it's an open jam concert or drum circle at our community center, the whole thing is we welcome people in, create spaces where it's free of charge and they're able to just create.
Right. How does that feel as part of your job, being able to take what you know and what you've learned and go share it with the community at large?
The big thing is it's like my mission. I'm an artist and I want to make sure when I'm not creating, I'm helping other people create. That creates this feeling that a lot of our students don't have if they don't have an art teacher or if they don't have a music teacher or whatever it is. This is how I'm able to help my community. So it's just an incredible opportunity.
All right.
Yeah, you could probably talk more about that. This question kind of includes that, but what are the main goals you want to accomplish?
The main goals I want to accomplish, I want to make sure that I treat people with kindness and respect every day. I want to make sure that I go out and I engage with people where they're at. And that kind of leads my mission of being able to, if this artist wants to expand their career and learn how to teach, I'll help them with that. If it's I've worked with the audio engineering students here. If they're like, hey, how do you record a show? I'll sit down and I'll work with them. So the whole thing is being aware and observant and welcoming to however I can help people. That's my main goal in life.
Right. Now, Mark, there might be a person out there right now wanting to explore their creativity, continue their education. Are there any barriers, any age limits to one who wants to come to MATC and learn about the arts or how to explore themselves creatively?
Well, over at our community center, the slogan is make arts accessible for all. So we've had dancing workshops for 5-year-olds, and then we've had drum circles for 70-year-olds. So the whole thing is whether you want to jump on stage or whether you want to sing, paint, whatever it might be, come down, we'll set you up with an artist, we'll set you up with an experience where all the supplies are there and it really doesn't matter. You just come and do it.
All right, well, Mark, thanks for being with us today on our program.
Thank you.
All right. And thanks to all of you. I know that it's time now to go down and see what Leslie's up to in the kitchen. Leslie, what's going on over there?
Thank you so much and welcome everyone. Today I'll be showing you guys a new recipe brought from South America. It is a special dish called arepas. It is one of the classics and favorites of Venezuelan people. For this recipe, you will need these ingredients: 2 cups of pre-cooked cornmeal flour, 2.5 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a cooking plate to place the dough. First, in a big bowl, we are going to place some water with a little bit of salt. So I have some pre-made dough right here, and that's where you will start mixing some of your flour. And if you want, you can also add some toppings to make it the traditional way, which would be some oatmeal and some carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Do love oatmeal, so I'm gonna put a decent amount. And then I'll add some carrots that I have right here. So once you place it out there, you bet I'm gonna start using my hands to mix this. And this is the traditional way to mix dough. Just use your hands. So when you are mixing your dough, this is the important thing to remember. When you are mixing the dough, if the dough starts getting closer to a gum-like texture, you might need to add a bit more flour. But if it gets too difficult or dry to put together, just go ahead and add some water. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep mixing this. Not every type of flour is really going to give you the right texture. There are many corn flours out there that might give you the right texture that you're looking for. In this case, we're going to use one called pan. So I think I'm pretty good with mixing. So this is the tricky part. You want to grab a handful. This might be enough for just one big one. I'll take some stuff out. But the way you want your arepa size would be like a little tortilla, but not too thick and not too thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that like a ball. Then I'm gonna go ahead and flatten it out. And then you can use your fingers to kind of shape it into a circle. It does not have to be perfect, but yes. And then just flatten it out so then it's evenly cooked on both sides. And now I'm going ahead and put this on the griddle right over here. So you can see I have 2 already made and they're doing pretty good. I'm just gonna flip them. But this is how they should kind of look like, you know? Very thick tortillas, but that's what we want. And to save us some time beforehand, I have some already pre-made. Wanna take a look? Ta-da! And there you have it. The best part is that you get to choose whatever you want to put inside. But here I get to show you some of the many styles of arepas with their names. And yes, you bet they name them. Otherwise, how do you know which ones are which? So, for example, I have la cifrina, which only has cheese. And then I have like the catira, which is cheese with chicken slice, so you can see. And then I have la reina pepiada, which is the most popular, with some chicken and some mayo and some avocado. It has a name because there was this Venezuelan woman called Susana Duhin who won the Miss World in 1955. And in those times, a good-looking woman was called pepiada for some reason. And then here we have the viuda, which is the widow. Some places put so much inside of an arepa that you may ask for a widow to compensate for what's left over. So you can see. You can constantly keep checking up on your arepa, but up to you how much you want it cooked. So, well, that will do for it today. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Chef Leslie, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Chef Leslie. I see you have some extra. Make sure to bring some over so we can try.
And trying new things is what the college experience is all about. Student producer Carlos Anderson introduces us to an alumni of the Industrial Designer program just down the road at MIAD.
For College Life this week, we're going to speak with an alumni who attended MIAD and graduated in the Industrial Designer program.
Streblo, I am an industrial designer on a personal level because I have my own set of standards to where I believe I should be by the time I was done with school, but also the school itself in the industrial design program or product design program now really pushes the students into being prepared for the workplace. And because of the work that we did during the school years, really prepared you, I feel over-prepared me for what the expectation was afterwards. I felt like I was ready to step into the workplace and hit the ground running and not feel like I was behind or really missing some type of element that I wasn't getting. And I feel like without that structure and real sense of care from the professors, I feel like I really wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else. Not really. I mean, the school is absolutely fantastic at its diversity. I mean, so many different people from all walks of life really attend the school, and it's really great to see those different backgrounds, whether that's your race, religion, sexual orientation. I mean, it's really great to see different perspectives from different groups of people, and you can really see that through students' work while you're here, and it's inspiring to see that. And can be creative. I mean, during school we always hear you're out in the weeds, but I mean, some of those ideas are where you can have the best ideas. I mean, you may not have that full idea that was really out there, but maybe you can take elements from that, and I think that's kind of a process that you really need to really have those far out ideas and then bring those back slowly into more of a grounded place that you can move forward from.
It's great to see what other alumni accomplish after they graduate. Let's now join James for the MATC Minute and see what's currently going around the college.
Visit the downtown campus in room M175 to enjoy and take a look at a variety of mediums for the MATC 2024 Profiles in Education Create Faculty exhibit. Happening Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The last day to enjoy this unique exhibit is on May 17th. Participate in the Self-Care Fair to decompress and relax before finals. Still not convinced? Well, there's free food and other gifts. It's happening at the Mequon campus on April 30th from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. in the lower lobby. Stop by the Oak Creek campus for the end of the year picnic on May 1st, starting at 11 a.m. until the food runs out. Who doesn't enjoy playing games, listening to music, and connecting with your fellow students? Have fun with our Creative Arts, Media, and Design Pathway Showcase and view students' work, hear live music, and taste culinary and baking treats on May 2nd from 3 until 7 p.m. Stress no longer. The end of the semester is here.
Thanks, James, for those updates on future events. Art has been pivotal across history, and student producer Mariah Martinez has the perfect hidden gem KE for us.
I'm student producer Mariah Martinez, and you're watching another Hidden Gem KE.
The St. Joan of Arc Chapel is the oldest building in the city. The Story Chapel was likely built around 1420 in Chassé-sur-Rhône, France, to honor Saint Martin de Sicile. It was passed on for centuries until it was eventually dismantled stone by stone in 1964 and sent to Milwaukee to be reconstructed. The structure tells a story of Christian faith, of longing and suffering, and of the hope of real people through centuries, symbolized in the life of St. Joan of Arc. The St. Joan of Arc Chapel is in the heart of Marquette, and in the springtime it is covered and surrounded by beautiful tulips. Some come to worship, and some come to marvel at a structure built long before Europeans arrived in Milwaukee. It's an incredible part of history.
I'm student producer Mariah Martinez, and this has been another Hidden Gem KE.
What a historic and lovely place. I will definitely have to visit that there for myself in the future. But before we close the show and say goodbye for the season, I want to thank my co-host and my guest, Mark Soriano, for a wonderful chat today. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. And thanks to all of you for watching the last episode of this semester. We hope to see all of you back in the fall for another semester of MATC Now. Guys, thanks for being here. It's great.